The following is the 659th regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting of February 8, 2018. The meeting is held at 1110 West Washington Street, Suite 250, Phoenix, Arizona 85007. The time is 10 a.m. Okay, sir.
We ready?
We're on.
I'd like to call to order the 659th regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting of today. Madam Secretary.
Good morning. Commissioner Garay?
Here.
Commissioner Heupel?
Here.
Commissioner Lawless?
Here.
Commissioner McClintock?
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum, and I'd like to take a moment and say good morning to everybody. And as a public service, please silence or turn all cell phones off. If you must take a call, please be courteous to those around you and take the conversation out in the hall. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
First order of business is the election of Racing Commission officers for the current year. I have individually polled all of the commissioners and would propose that Commissioner McClintock be chairman and Commissioner Garay be vice chairman. I know we need to do it in two separate motions. Right, Cassie?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll approve it, or I'll second the first motion.
I'm sorry, just do it
Shaman.
cleanly and
Oh,
just
okay.
say it all in the
Start over.
record. Thank you.
You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I move that Jay McClintock be the chair for the upcoming year.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Abstain. You're stuck with it, pal.
Motion carries.
Okay. And I nominate Commissioner Garay as vice chair.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, the second order of business is the Pima County Fair Horse Racing Commission date change.
Yeah,
Ray?
this is, in February 2017, the Racing Commission approved their 3-year permit for 17, 18, and 19. Originally, they had 2018 dates of February 10th, 11th, March 17th, and 18th. They would like to move the March 18th date to March 3rd of this year. And I received on Tuesday that the Pima County Board of Supervisors has approved this change, so everything's in order, and we would recommend it.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Lawless?
Yes.
Commissioner Heupel?
Yes.
Commissioner McClintock?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries to change the dates for Pima County Fair Horse Racing from March 18th to March 3rd, 2018 at Rito. Thank you, sir.
Information reports. Turf safety report, Greg.
Absolutely. This is actually a dual safety report because Rito starts this weekend, so we've got both tracks running on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. At Turf, staff continues to tour the backside and engage with licensees on any major issues that they have with their barns. All the barns appear to be well kept by these trainers and licensees. They're doing a very good job of doing the cleaning and mowing and things. Other than previously noted roofing and bathroom issues, we're still working, actually waiting for rainy days. We've only had actually 2 rainy days throughout the whole season. So once we get another rainstorm, we'll be out there monitoring the barns and the roofing issues to see if there's additional ones that we have. When we find them, we'll bring them to the Turf's attention and we'll monitor the scheduled repairs. Potholes, we talk about this every month. There's a couple major ones. There's a significant uneven pavement near the training track. I just alerted management to that. They're going to look into it. Needs to be kind of blended and smoothed over a little bit. Other potholes exist throughout the complex. We'll need to continue monitoring that, and they'll patch them, and then we'll go from there. So our staff is out daily looking at those, and we find them. In the past 30 days, staff and I have toured what I would call the front side, the grandstands, the clubhouses, and things of that. No major safety issues or concerns were noted. Switching to Rito, we moved in yesterday, and that was our first day of licensing. It was very busy. I did get a chance to look at the track. It looks good. Spoke with the track superintendent, who's Vic Oliver. Noted a couple areas on the railing that needed repair. He was going to do that before the start Saturday. I'll walk the track again tomorrow and again just before the races on Saturday. Backside barns look good, clean. Even the test barn, it looks like it's been done very, very well. That backside's in a constant state of flux. The horses are coming in, there's temporary pins, and we'll monitor if anything comes up. Not a lot of lighting back there, which has always been an issue with Rito on that backside. Grandstand and clubhouse areas were clean. They're being prepped as we speak. We'll do once again a walkthrough before the start Saturday. Did get to see the paddock. It's been very clean. New sod has been put down. It looks very good at this point in time. Jock room was locked, but I'll go in there before to make sure the showers and everything work. I expect to be repaired if there's anything that needs to be done by Saturday. By this time next month, March, believe it or not, there will be less than 40 days of live racing, so I would consider our season kind of getting to the end. What I'd like to do in the next few months is engage each committee, Turf, Rito, and Yavapai, knowing that they're starting their permit process, and talk to them about their summer and long-term plans for their backsides. Okay, what are they going to do? What repairs are they going to do? What continuous improvement items they're going to do? And this was successful last year when we did, if you remember, we had a roofing issue in the licensing office, and it was repaired satisfactorily by Turf Management. So we'll do that. We'll engage them and ask them what they're going to do on their backsides to see what changes that they are planning, either long-term or short-term. And then I'll report that back to you, hopefully by the May commission meeting.
Thanks, Greg. Budget report, Director.
All right, Lori Anderson is not present today to provide an update, so I'll share with you that we are within our monthly budget and we're doing fine at this time.
Thank you. Legislative update, Aiden.
Got some handouts here for you. I got 5. So for the record, Aiden Fleming with the Arizona Department of Gaming. There is one bill I do want to discuss that just propped up on Monday. It is HB 2589. I'm going to go over the provisions, and there's quite a few substantive changes, so members feel free to stop me, ask questions as I kind of mull over the provisions. First, it replaces the term department with division. It defines the director as the director of the division of racing within the Department of Gaming. Before it was the Department of Gaming. I think this is more of a clarifying change that is being thought of here. Director Casillas would still be the director. Department of Gaming is still the director. How it flows is still the same. I believe that was clarifying in intent. It repeals the appointment of a member to this body to have a financial interest or substantial experience in the dog racing industry. As we know, we used to have live dog racing. That has gone away, so it looks like it's repealing the requirement for a dog racing member, and it's replacing it with a horse racing member, a harness racing member, so someone with experience in that area. So we will be replacing that member, and in addition, adding on another member to this body. So there will be a net gain of 1 commissioner under this bill.
Oh, so over 5? So it'd be 6?
That is
Or it'll be
what
5?
that is what it looks like. Yeah. So it requires 2 members instead of 1 to have a financial interest or substantial experience in horse racing or the harness industry. So there'd be a net gain of 1 member.
Let's get a longer table.
Yeah.
Horse and harness. So the next provision, and this is a big one, it increases the, I'll get to the big one. But the next one is it increases the maximum period from 3 years to 5 years for a permittee. So under statute right now, the commission can set the permittee number of years the license is good for, up to 3. This wouldn't change your authority, it would just increase it to now you can consider up to 5. So it just gives more latitude, it appears. This one, 80% of all carryover must go back to offset the RWA. So essentially it allows the division to retain only 20% of the unexpended or unencumbered balance of money, if any, remaining in the fund at the end of the year. And we're talking about the Racing Regulatory Fund. So essentially, previous years, we used to be able to carry over 100%. So that would be in our Racing Regulatory Fund. If there was excess RWA or excess licensing fees that would go into our fund, we would carry it over from year to year. This provision basically says they're going to chop it at 20%. And if we have any extra money left over in the future, and 80% would then be returned to offset the cost of the RWA, I assume, to the tracks and so forth. So it's a provision that would limit the agency's ability to carry over more than that amount, whatever it turns out to be. Another one is that prohibits the regulatory wagering assessment or parimutuel pools from exceeding 0.5%. As you recall, and this is a large change, as you recall, this body had the authority to raise and lower as necessary in previous years by rule. We could raise the RWA or lower it from month to month, however it went. Last year, they placed it in the budget, so the legislature took over the authority of saying what the RWA is. Now, if you put it in budget, it can be contemplated every year. So the legislature would get together and say, well, we'll raise it or lower it. This bill would basically set a hard cap. It would be in state statute to say it could not be higher than 0.5. So whatever you can, the legislature now can contemplate of only lowering it, not raising it. As session law, and this is getting back to the makeup of this body, but they do put in a provision as session law that the commission members obviously could continue their terms under the normal expiration date. So even though this bill is saying we want to get rid of the dog racing member, that member can absolutely finish out his term normally. As session law, it allows the Department of Gaming to adopt rules. They're calling it the Cactus Pick 6. You guys may know it more as the Rainbow Pick 6. So it's basically giving us a 1-year rule exemption to put that rule, to adopt that rule. Recently, the department we'd taken a 1.5 years actually to redo the boxing rules, the boxing and MMA rules. That took over a 1.5 years with committees and so forth. Under this provision, it's a session law piece that gives us a 1-year window to pass a specific rule for what would be very similar, from what I understand, would be to a Rainbow Pick 6, called the Cactus Pick 6. It separates financially divisions of boxing and MMA from the division of racing. Back in 1981, the division of boxing, or not division, but the Boxing Commission came about. In 1992, it was rolled up into the Racing Commission for financial concerns. In 2015, racing was rolled up into gaming, so now you have 3 tiers of commissions. So you have the boxing rolled up to racing, racing rolled up into gaming. And how that has worked is boxing has essentially not been able to self-sustain over that number of years and has relied on the Racing Regulatory Fund to a certain degree to pay its bills as well. There is a provision in the governor's budget that allows them to retain a tax that they weren't previously allowed to retain. So they're getting to a more self-sustaining level. There's additional contingencies that need to be dealt with by that. But what this is saying, this bill is saying, there will be a clear separation. So Boxing Commission, Racing Commission will still be under the umbrella of gaming. However, they will not feed in or feed off of the Racing Regulatory Fund anymore. So that's a separation as well. The next one, as session law, it establishes the Rural County Fair Racing Fund, which shall be administered and continuously appropriated by the Department of Gaming. What this fund does is it requires the department to transfer from FY 18, 19, and 1920 each year $200,000 of surplus monies from the Racing Regulatory Fund and into the Rural County Fair Racing Fund to be distributed to continue to counties with population less than 800,000 persons in order to operate county fair racing. Now, this is the same fund that is now capped at 0.5, so that fund, and there's only 20% carryover. So there's a lot of things happening with the fund itself in this bill. So 3 major things: the cap, so the input is being capped. The transfer, about $400,000, is being considered over 2 years to county racing fund, and that will come out of the racing regulatory fund. And the third one was the separation of boxing and racing. So there's a lot of things that would fluctuate with this fund going forward if this bill were to pass. And essentially the last provision I was going to talk about is establishes procedures for grant monies for the fund itself. With that, the bill is dozens of pages long. Those are the main provisions. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thanks, Aiden.
Thank you.
Okay, permittee reports. American Greyhound,
Nothing new to report at this time.
county fairs. Rito, I saw Jay sneak in.
Morning, everyone. Jay Wells with Rito Racing and Rito Park Foundation. Sorry I was late this morning, a little bad traffic on the outside of town. Well, as Greg knows, we're scrambling to get ready. Opening day's 48 hours away, so we're excited about that. It seems I have been out of town due to a family emergency, so I'm not the best emissary today to communicate what's going on, but I think Greg could kind of let you know what's happening. I did get back and was delighted to see, I got back yesterday morning and was delighted to see that everything seemed to be in place. The first thing that I did was have a staff meeting and ask everyone if there were any major obstacles to actually opening. And there are a few things like securing an additional $20,000 on our bond, et cetera, that Greg has asked us and Rudy's asked us to do. So that's in the works. Greg, I'll ask you, since I haven't had a chance to really visit with you, is there anything that you see that's holding us up? Or
Not at this time.
Okay.
But again, it's a safe
It's the typical scramble. We're excited. The Clydesdales are going to be there the 3rd and 4th. We're expecting huge crowds. The last time they were in town, we had almost 14,000 people for the 2 weekends. I think also you might be aware that we did enter into a contract with Churchill Downs as Twin Spires to handle ADW in the state, and that's new territory. I'd like to close on saying that we do hope that this is a sign that the deck's being shuffled a little bit in Arizona, and we hope that Turf Paradise, the efforts of Yavapai, and certainly Rito are willing to sit down with the HBPA and try to make this legislation come about so that it makes not just a fair playing field, a level playing field for everyone, but really does benefit Arizona horse racing as a whole. I think that's everyone's goal and should be on the agenda. Thank you very much. Any questions? We have to see you. You didn't come last year. And he had fun. I know we did.
We had fun.
Thank you.
Okay, Turf Paradise, Vince.
Vincent Francie, General Manager of Turf Paradise. 3 things, 2 of which are of the same topic, and that is equine virus. There was an outbreak in Portland, near Portland Track, and so we're under a 2-week prohibition of any horses coming from there, and there are horses waiting to get into Turf Paradise. Once the 2-week expires, those horses will be required to have the inoculation to protect them from this virus. The same virus hit Turfway Park. They are under quarantine procedures right now. However, some horses from Turfway did get into Turf Paradise, so we're keeping a close eye on those specific horses. Third, this Saturday is the 62nd running of the Gold Cup, and got a lot of good horses, a very good racing program for the day, a lot of family-oriented promotions, which consist of the free T-shirts, live music, multiple inflatables, and pony rides and face painters for the kids, in Greek with the jockeys, where we provide photos and the fans can get them autographed. And this year we've added a new aspect of the promotion, a bulldog fashion show. So we're all anxious to see how that happens. If I could amplify before the commission and the department, Turf Paradise is willing, ready, whenever it is convenient for Rito and Yavapai to meet and to discuss whatever it is on the table that needs to be discussed. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Vince. Tucson Greyhound Park.
Leisure, nothing new.
Thank you. Optional Industry Stakeholder Association updates. Arizona County Racing Association. Arizona Greyhound Association. Arizona Quarter Horse Racing Association. Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. HBPA.
Commissioners, Director Leroy Gussman with the Arizona HBPA. I just want to say that I am going to have the privilege of going down to Rito this weekend and check in with Mike Weiss and probably Greg, I guess, is going to be there. And meet with some of the horsemen and our representative down there. Looking forward to that. And as far as the comments from Vince and Jay, I do want to say I've been in contact with all of the 3 tracks, and I think we are at a point now where all 3 tracks are willing to sit down and talk about things, and which is, I think, a very important move for Arizona racing. So I think there's room for all 3 tracks, and I think all 3 tracks can really help the breeding in the state of Arizona, which we need a kickstart on. I don't have anything else to report. Any questions?
Thank you. Jake Core. Tom?
Tom Author from Jayport Properties, representing the Yavapai Downs. Director, Commissioners, Greg, everybody. We still own the track. Nothing's changed. I do have one question. Where do these bills originate from? Or from where do they originate, I guess I should say.
Mr. Chair, I think this is mainly, this was started as a horse racing bill, I believe, and became a gaming omnibus. The people I think it's coming from, Representative Cook down in Pima County, who was the sponsor of the bill. As far as the entities providing information, I think that comes from a conglomerate. Since you see that's it's an omnibus bill, it hits a lot of different
If somebody
areas.
goes to him and says, we need to make some changes, and he said, I'll carry it through, or?
Generally speaking, that's how it would work.
I'm just curious what, thanks.
Absolutely.
We, again, nothing really to report. I'll second what Leroy said. We've had conversations, and I think certainly before the next meeting, we will have sat down with Turf and our pals at Rito, and we'll, hopefully we'll get something figured out. I think we're at a point where I think we've got a fair solution. Hopefully everybody else will agree with that. We didn't. We were over at Santa Anita. We went over there. Corey set up a big trip over to Santa Anita, and it was really a great trip. Our whole team got together. Wives came along. Had a good time anyway. I'm sorry. We met. We had breakfast at Cocker's Corner with Bob Baffert. He was very supportive of what we're trying to do. We reconnected with our old friend. You guys may know Eric Crueljack. We hadn't seen him in many years, and that was fun seeing him. So, we're optimistic. Hope to get everything going here. We're going to go down to Rito probably next weekend. I'm sure Jay will have red carpet out for us, and some benefits only exclusive to fellow track owners. No, we're going to go down there and just kind of learn a little bit, and that's really all we got to say.
Have you come up with your new name for the?
No, we're kicking that around.
Okay.
That was the wives have some ideas on that, so we got to squash that first. They're talking about what color silks. I said, God, I think that's up to the jockeys. We don't have a track silk color. I don't know. But anyway, so we'll have to. Corey will have to diplomatically. And Ann McGovern, the gal who's going to manage it, was there, and we met with Dennis Moore, who's going to be our track guy. He runs Santa Anita's actual physical track. He's a nice fellow. And it was really an informative trip for us, and we came away. They took us through all the barns and met a couple other trainers. It was great. But no name yet, but we'll have something before we go.
Tom, I know I've asked you this in the past. Do you have any idea whether you guys could be open this summer? Or
It's going to be tough
long shot?
because we're working with Greg right now, but we probably won't get permitted until May or June, May-ish. And we probably have a construction period of 4, 5, 6 months. So I don't, and rather than do kind of a half-baked job.
Yeah.
we're
So
gonna
probably
try
the next year.
And hopefully it'll
Next
give us a
summer.
chance to accumulate some purses and do it the right way.
Yeah.
So as much as we'd like to, and obviously we're going to defer to the horsemen how they feel about that, but I think in our conversations, I think in general, they felt like if you can do it, great, but if it's going to be a crummy meet, let's just do it
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
So, I mean, we got a lot we got to put a new roof on, we got to fix the track, we got mold damage, just, a lot of cosmetic stuff that's going to take a while. But we've hired a contractor out of Oklahoma, Preston, I don't remember his last name, but he built the Lone Star, he redid Remington. So he's somebody that Corey and Ann have worked with before. So that's the plan.
Good,
Great,
thanks.
Tom, thanks.
Thank you.
Jockeys Guild. Okay, moving on to summary of current events affecting the commission. Anything? Okay. Anybody have any matters to be placed on future agendas?
They don't.
Okay, call to the public. Did anybody sign up?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, the next regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting is scheduled to be held on Thursday, March 8th in this room, subject to change based on a quorum, but as of now, it's March 8th at 10 a.m.
That's the meeting that we're going to hear,
The appeal,
yeah, of Rudy's. Can we make sure that gets put at the end so that, I mean, I know we always do it
can
then.
always do it to
Okay,
the end.
all right. 'Cause, I don't, these, they don't need to sit around and hear that.
okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 10:27 a.m. 27 a.m. 27 a.m. 27 a.m.